My name is Inspector Jim Callender with the Hamilton Police Service. I'm here to announce the arrest of 3 individuals for the 2021 shooting homicide of 18-year-old Yua Blut Kaw. On June 9th, the Hamilton Police Service, in conjunction with the Ottawa Police Service, arrested 3 individuals and executed multiple search warrants in relation to this homicide. A little recap, on September 24th, 2021, Yua Kaw was walking on Cannon Street East, just east of Sherman Avenue, when a dark-colored vehicle approached him, and he was shot on the sidewalk of a very busy street at a very busy time of day. These shots obviously were fatal to him. He was transported to the hospital, but he was unable to recover from those injuries. And we have continued this investigation since that time, and at the end of it all, we were able to locate 3 individuals that are responsible for this murder, and they were all charged with first-degree murder. I'll give you the names of those individuals who are in custody as we speak right now. The first is Najib Noor. He's 27 years old, from Hamilton. Abdiaziz Ibrahim Omer. He's 20 years, of Hamilton, and a male youth who currently resides in the city of Ottawa. We'd like to thank not only the public but our partners at the Ottawa Police Service for the successful conclusion of this part of the investigation. However, the investigation is still ongoing, and if you have any information related to this homicide, please contact Detective David Tashida at 905-546-4123, or you can always call Crime Stoppers and provide your information anonymously. If you have any questions, I'm open to those as well.
I'm wondering if you can comment on or clarify, there were a number of shootings that happened in and around this homicide, including several other homicides that you were also investigating.
Yes.
Can you comment as to whether this case is connected to any of those other shootings?
Yes, I can. The shootings that you're speaking of there's a shooting that happened at the Tim Hortons at Main and Caroline, as well as a shooting that happened in Stony Creek Mountain. Those 2 homicides were connected. There were some individuals that were involved in both of those shootings. This murder, there is a relation to the murder that occurred at the Tim Hortons. We believe that it's a result of Yua's murder was a result of retaliation for the murder at Tim Hortons.
One of the individuals charged today obviously has the same last name as Sabir Omer. Is there a relation there? I
won't get into the details of any kind of familiar relationship, but they are known to each other, yes.
And what about Keaton Bond's murder? Is there a connection to that one?
There is no known connection that I'm aware of to the Keaton Bond murder, no.
Okay. Was the victim in this case believed to be involved in any of the other shootings? I
can say that I have no knowledge that he was at all involved in either the other 2 homicides or any homicide in the city of Hamilton. What I can say is that it looks like there was 2 groups of individuals, whether that were having disagreements, and I would call them at best unsophisticated gang or group of young individuals who were disputing over most likely drug territory.
So sort of a disorganized crime as opposed to organized crime?
Correct.
But you believe that it was retaliatory violence, but he was not a shooter in either in the other case?
The victim, Yua Kaw, has nothing to do with any of the other two murders that we're speaking of.
Was he connected with any of the drug activity?
No, I'm not going to speak directly to what his known interactions with police are, which are actually very limited, but there's no information that I have that I can share with you that has to do with the drug trafficking or activity.
Does it appear that he was just an innocent victim that was wrapped up in something that was out of his control?
I would say, I believe I spoke to this on the first occasion we talked about this. I believe it was targeted. I believe that the individuals that are responsible for this were looking for him in particular, and that's why it's a first-degree murder. I just don't believe that the target was in relation to the group affiliation.
The 17-year-old arrested, is he originally from Hamilton?
He is originally from Hamilton, yes.
Did he go to the same school? We know he was from Bernie Custis, the victim.
I don't have that information with me, I can't comment on that right now.
Sorry, I'm just having trouble wrapping my mind around the retaliatory violence connection if he wasn't involved in anything. So was he associated with the group and he was targeted because friends with the people in that group? Is that sort of along the lines?
That would be the best analogy. So there's two groups. Mr. Kaw would be associated to one of those groups, and that's the retaliation.
Is there any sense that he was being followed, or was it sort of a crime of opportunity that they happened to see him walking down the street and he's like, oh, there's one of their guys, we're going to get him, kind of thing?
Yeah, I can't get in too deep in those waters, and just because it's now before the courts, and that would speak to a lot to those facts and issue related to the actual offense itself. But like I said, I believe it's targeted. They were looking for that individual at that time.
And the charge is first-degree murder because there was some element of pre-planning?
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything you can clarify in terms of the actual shooting? We know that you said previously that multiple shots were fired from a vehicle. Do you believe there was more than one shooter?
I can clarify that. My knowledge is there's only one shooter and multiple shots from a vehicle.
And you believe that all three of these individuals were in the vehicle at the time?
Correct.
Was there any?
Oh, sorry. No, that's incorrect. I can't. I'm aware of at least two of them were in the vehicle at the time.
Okay. Do you believe there's anybody else in the vehicle, or are there any outstanding suspects?
Like I say, I think the investigation is still open. I'm still open to the possibility of more people being involved in this offense, and that's why we're looking for more information if it's out there. We plead to the public or to anybody who has information regarding this to come forward, and we'll investigate that information.
Have any weapons been recovered in this case?
No firearm has not been recovered in this case.
Is there anything more that you can tell us about the victim's life? We know so little about him, just to get a bit of an understanding.
I guess the best thing I can say about the victim is mostly about speaking from his family and how devastated they were, and how they continued over the last 6 months. They were always in contact with us, and they were always looking for some answers, and there was a great joy to the investigators to be able to call the family and let them know that this has happened. I think for the family, it shows the connected pieces of them, and with losing their son and their sibling, they actually had an inner fear that something was it was just horrible to them. So this was a nice little closing factor to them. I think it was very, obviously we all wanted to see a resolution such as this for somebody, people being held accountable for their actions. But for the family, it was just a little bit of closure.
How many siblings did he have?
That I'm aware of, 3.
And he was a student at Vernon Justice?
I can't comment on that.
Okay, any final questions? All right.
Thank you, everybody.